the odds are that you've probably seen at least one Roland Emmerich movie. And he basically made a name for himself with these massive blockbusters in the 90s. You know, Independence Day and Godzilla, but he's also made things like The Patriot and The Day After Tomorrow. But the last thing I saw from him was that weird Shakespeare movie Anonymous, which was sort of his take on a period piece, and it wasn't very good. But now he's back with another big movie, the kind of movies he's known for. And this one, as the title suggests, deals with the battle around Midway, a small island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and it takes place during World War II. Now, knowing how much Emmerich likes to butcher history, I definitely wouldn't take any of this as historically accurate. And I went into this wanting more of a big action movie than anything else. I was pretty much fine with it perhaps being rather loose with the facts. And I was more or less just looking to be entertained, nothing else really. And for the most part I would say that this succeeded in that. It's fairly entertaining. Now, don't get me wrong, the writing here, as far as the characters go, is very flat and generic, as is the dialogue. It's all just very one-dimensional. That being said, the story here works. It's nothing special, but it works. And we basically mainly follow this fighter pilot, played by Ed Skrein, who I've never been the biggest fan of, and I'm not the biggest fan of him in this either. Especially in the scenes where he's supposed to be this cocky, hotshot pilot. However, I will say that in the more subtle and dramatic scenes, where he's not as in your face, he actually surprised me and showed me that he can actually act. And I definitely didn't expect to say this, but I think he should do more dramatic roles. Because in my opinion he's way better at doing that than the big action hero stuff, where he just comes across as a bit obnoxious. But one of the other things I liked about this, as far as how it was all set up, was the fact that we also get to see things from the Japanese perspective. As this is about a battle between the US and Japan, so it's not one-sided. And you might expect a movie like this to be very rah-rah USA. And there's definitely a bit of that in there, but it also doesn't really paint the Japanese as villains. It even says in the movie it's dedicated to all the soldiers, including the Japanese ones, at the end. So I thought that was interesting and a surprisingly level-headed approach to it all. And while I'm talking positives here, I might as well bring up the score too. Because I liked it a lot, for the most part, at least during the battle scenes. It just had this deep booming and rumbling, but rather simplistic score, and I thought it was really effective. And it helped enhance the battle scenes too, which to me were the highlight of the movie. Because they were actually really intense and exciting, entertaining, and exactly what I was looking for. Which I guess brings me to the biggest issue with this, and something that really annoyed me. And that was the over-reliance on CGI and green screens, and the fact that a lot of it was not very good. Now, some movies pull it off, some movies are almost entirely CGI, and they look fantastic. But then you have movies like this where almost every scene that doesn't take place indoors is done in front of a green screen, and it's super obvious and honestly distracting. And it was only really during the more intense battle scenes where I could sorta forget about it. But during most other scenes I was looking at it going, how is this the best they could do? On a movie with reportedly around $100 million budget too, it's just unacceptable. But yeah, aside from that, I did find this to be rather entertaining. And it delivered pretty much what I wanted from it, but definitely not really anything more. So how about it? Would I recommend this? If you just want to see a kinda dumb action movie and don't mind shaky CGI, sure, why not? I've seen far worse than this. Or, you know, you could skip it. After all, I'm not your dad. But hey, what are your thoughts on this? Have you seen it? Did you like it? Let me know. And if you enjoyed the video, maybe give it a thumbs up or sub to the channel, because that would be fantastic. And if you'd like, you can also support me on Patreon or PayPal through the links in the description. And as always, I appreciate you and thanks for watching.